You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Imaging Services, Chiro Thin, Universal Tractioning Systems, Chiro Moguls, Zingit Solutions, Dr. Pete Goldman's Zone School of Healing, Everest Coaching Systems, Rhino Coaching, 5-Star Management, The Goodman Factor, Chiro Health USA, Max, Mahalo Wellness, and Chiro Expert. Let's hustle.
Hey everybody, Jim Chester here. This is a Chiro Hustle special edition. This is with the Colorado Chiropractic Association, and today I have Dr. RJ Gelina. Where are you coming in from, RJ?
All the way from Broomfield, Colorado.
All right, so that's in the Front Range. That's where everybody lives. And I'm coming in from Grand Junction, which is on the other side of the state, which is where I like to say I moved here because no one lived here, and I wanted to hear the birds chirp. So I'm way close to nature. But we're really going to dive in today and talk about this event that you have planned coming up October 25th through 27th in Aurora, which is, if you guys didn't know, it's like basically Denver. So we're going to do something really awesome for the Colorado Chiropractic Association today. But we're first going to talk about a little bit about why this event matters, some of the speakers that you're bringing in, and then why you're stepping up to be a contributor to this cause. And then we'll talk a little bit about how people can register. So that's kind of like my preemptive close for people. Click up there in that link up there and register for this event. But Dr. RJ, let's just jump right into this one and talk a little bit to me about some of the speakers and why you brought in such a heavy influence this year.
Yeah, Jim, I just appreciate all you do for chiropractic, your heart to serve and help so many doctors out, from the screenings to the podcast you started to do, just to everything, man. It's awesome that there's a person that's not a chiropractor that cares so much about this profession, almost at times more so than other chiropractors. And I don't mean that to poke them at all, but I mean, it's the truth that if you're not out there doing things, your level of care just isn't there. And I get that from you all the time, Jim, and people love working with you, and you're a great heart and great dude. So thank you for having me. But like you said, why I wanted to do this, I've been practicing now in Colorado for 13 years. I've gone to the association once. I've showed up to vote because we have our annual meetings there, but I've never gone because I never liked the flow, or I didn't like how they did it. It wasn't my crowd, so to speak. So I've never really gotten into a convention because of that, and because of the lineup. I go all over the United States, in Canada, and different parts of the world to go to seminars to hear people speak. And I wanted to create that here in Colorado for the convention. And the long story behind it was I got sick and tired of people complaining. I got sick and tired of people making claims and doing nothing. So I joined the association as a district rep 2 years ago. I was on there, just watched how it all went down. Again, saw the convention numbers and who was speaking. I'm like, no, this isn't going to work. And I went and asked, I said, hey, what's the data on the last several years of convention? I mean, there's 1,800 or so chiropractors in the state of Colorado, and there'd be like 170 to 180 showing up at this convention. I'm like, that's not good. And it's a lot of the old, like, people that have been in practice. I don't want to call them old, but people that have been in practice for like 20, 30 plus years are the ones showing up. And I was like, oh man, we need to get the young, we need to get the youth. And they're like, well, how do you do it? You youth don't want to do it. And I said, no, let me run it. And so I just stepped up and said, hey, I want to run this convention this year. Here's my vision. I wanted to bring in a ton of speakers, not one or two people doing 8 hours of a technique or 8 hours on one topic. I think in today's day and age, if you're going to do a technique, you're going to seek that out on your own. A lot of people don't want to change their technique, but they just want to get, spizzed up or fired up or back on fire and hear some amazing speakers come in. And, we had a great meeting in October, all the board, and we came down and said, here's what we want to teach business. We want to teach patients. We want to create a community of Colorado chiropractors to get fired up about. So I really dove in and I brought some of the best speakers around in terms of business and influence and speaking. We brought people in terms of, technique and neurodevelopmental. We have kid chiropractors, the pediatric chiropractors, I should say, and some of the biggest names. And I wanted a lot of female speakers because a lot of times people say, why aren't the women on the stage? So I made that. I have a ton of women coming, female chiropractors, and just some of the biggest in names right now that are up in chiropractic. And so that's why I did it. So, little teasers. I said some last week. Roberto Monaco was on with me, who's a great speaking coach, helps a lot of people master that craft. We got Ed Osborne, who you do a lot with. I mean, Ed's just phenomenal. Monique Andrews, who's just, phenomenal. Her story is this huge amount of people she's impacted, from all the stuff that she works on. Billy D, Tim Young, BJ Hardick, Amanda Afflerblatt, Sean and Lacey. If you don't know who Sean and Lacey are, I don't know where you're hiding right now, because they're everywhere. Ian Davis Tremaine from California is coming out, Upper Cervical Revolution. Ed Gigliotti, John Martini. Not John Martini, John Minardi. I'll get in trouble for that one. Carlos Bogosian, Ed Gigliotti, Stu Hoffman, Jeb McAvery, who does scoliosis, Brett Wisniewski. We also got Josh Linkner, who's like Fortune. This guy's done billions in sales, and he's going to come and help us, be better as a profession for sure with his message. So that's some of the speakers. That there's more too on there, but it's going to be 3 days of amazing chiropractic speakers.
Well, I think what you're doing is so essential to the chiropractic space, especially for the state that we both live in and love. And I think that, as we met each other, we both resonated at a high level of how we can be like driver mentalities and catalysts for the cause. I love that about you as well. And thank you for the kind words earlier. One of our sponsors, Pete Goldman, he's like, man, I don't know anybody else that wakes up every day before they think about anything else is how they can make the profession of chiropractic better. And he was saying that about me. And, to me, it's about a better consistency. And I know that chiropractic works every time. And I know that chiropractors are constantly working their craft. Like you said, if a chiropractor wants to come to this and learn technique, this might not be the best thing for them, because you should have technique before you decide that you're going to go be a chiropractor. And
well, yeah, you're gonna get a ton of it in school, man. Like I was the technique. My clinic badge at Palmer, I had every color and every sticker because I took every technique, and I thought technique was everything. And then you get out and you learn, well, how do I communicate it? What's my philosophy behind it? You get so much of the science and the art, but you don't know that philosophy, and you lose that, or the business savvy. And that's why I really wanted to bring some of the best business savvy chiropractors to help people get more people in, make a better living for themselves, take the stress off, and just grow chiropractic. And it's like you said, my what behind it was, the reality is our Practice Act is up for review in 2020. And they're like, we need to get more members to join the association so we represent the majority so we can keep our Practice Act. And I was like, hey, the best way to do that is create an amazing event and get people to join the CCA. And that's why, there is a great price reduction if you're a CCA member, and there's great CCA member benefits, but people just don't know it. And they have such a negative taste towards the Chiropractic Association, like I did. And then I joined and I realized, well, hold on. Some of the stuff that's getting said outside is incorrect. And that's why I always welcome people. Like if you're going to badmouth the Colorado Chiropractic Association, then join, and don't badmouth from afar, because we're trying to keep chiropractic as a whole chiropractic. And that's where my heart was behind this, man. I want to bring people to this event that are going to join. They're going to fight in the fight and protect chiropractic at its core.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Close for Chiro, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Imaging Services, Chiro Thin, Universal Tractioning Systems, Chiro Moguls, Zingit Solutions, Dr. Pete Goldman's Zone School of Healing, Everest Coaching Systems, Rhino Coaching, 5-Star Management, The Goodman Factor, Chiro Health USA, Bax Max, Mahalo Wellness, and Chiro Expert. Let's hustle.
And one of the things I admire most about you is I did see you start to put your head out there and wait for the swing. And I don't see it coming, man, just because what you've done is you've built yourself a community now that is supporting what you're doing. I think that is so fundamental. And that's another part of what you're doing is you're bringing together people for, in the church world, we call it fellowship. But when we bring together the band of brothers, or we bring together like whatever movement we're doing, this is so vital, because you're starting to bring together like a whole group of influencers that are the next wave of leaders. And that's really what they were basically knocking on the door saying, hey, how do we get the youth movement involved? How do we get the next comers involved instead of the old front? And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing to have the inclusion of the old front, but we need to start matriculating in the next level of influencer. And I think that that's where we're starting to shift. And that's why you're stepping up. Dan Knowles is stepping up. I mean, the people that are in the chiropractic trenches in Colorado are stepping up big time.
Yeah, and that's just it. Like I was having that conversation yesterday with some practice members saying it's shocking to me how we don't have, like, the culture's dissipated to where the old aren't educating the young anymore. And it's a bad dynamic. And, you know, some of the others say, oh, you're so young in chiropractic. I mean, 13 years is, to me, I don't think that's young. But then, you know, my mother-in-law is a chiropractor in Longmont, and she's just said she's been a member of the CCA for 31 years. I'm like, okay, maybe I am still young in this game. You know, you just think about that, and it's just different. But again, man, it's like you said, man, I want to have fellowship at this event. We're going to do the event's going to start 8 a.m. on Friday morning, and Roberto Monaco's kicking it off, and people are like, no one's going to show up at 8 a.m. And I'm just telling you, if you're in Colorado, you're booking Friday off. You're going to get in there because Roberto Monaco is going to help teach you how to craft your language, and communication is the most important thing in all that we do. And he loves chiropractic. He's got an amazing story. So I wanted to put him first so people would show up and do it. And there's going to be tons of value all weekend. We're going to do like a speakers meet and greet. So you get to hang and rub around and meet some of these amazing people. Like there's people in this group. One guy, Carlos Bogosian from Connecticut, he's growing 7 offices in the state of Connecticut, and he's in a hospital. And when I heard that, I'm like, well, how's it go over? He's like, every top doctor comes and gets adjusted, and it blew my mind. I'm like, okay, I need you to come and speak so we can hear that, because we typically want to battle and say, oh, we're better than her. But I think if we join and they understand what we do, they're going to start to see, oh my God, there is a benefit to this, and I want to start pushing my people to you, because the medical model is going to blow up, and we have to be prepared for that. So I thought that was great. And I'm just super excited, man, for people to come to this event. And to keep it here in Colorado and learn and get CEs. I think there's 17 hours of CEs with CPR documentation on Sunday. And I mean, there's no extra charge. It's included in your ticket. And I think that's a no-brainer to come and do. So.
Yeah, I love it, dude. And, you know, anywhere where you get influencers like Billy D, and anywhere where you get influencers like Tim Young that run their own events, that are willing to come out and to be a part of something that, you know, you're championing and being a part of. I think that that's super cool, because those guys could take their weekend off anytime they want to. But what they do is they keep the torch lit, and they keep going to the next place, and they keep pouring in. Like you said, there might have been a disconnect between like the older generation of chiropractors from the new wave, but those guys are like winning the middle ground. They're out there constantly campaigning, and they're constantly like pouring into the students. They're working on adjusting techniques and like keeping your mind free and doing the right things for your community. And I think when you have guys like Tim and Billy D coming out, that's just amazing. And those are just like the tip of the iceberg, man. So I think that you're going to have like a lot of people showing up just so that they can meet some of these influencers that they might not be able to meet anywhere else with the type of atmosphere that you're building for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're right. And that was the what behind it, man, just to create a really kick-ass event where people can come and learn, hang out, rub elbows, and just keep growing chiropractic in the state of Colorado, and just growing this association. And, you know, like I said, I think there's a disconnect that everyone thinks that the association's a bad association. It's not. It's a very, you know, true to chiropractic association. I mean, we're trying to represent 1,800 doctors in the state, and I think we do a really good job. And so I just, you know, I want you guys to come out, and I'm just going to, you know, click. I think Jim has a link out there in the page. Just link, get registered, and come support Colorado and chiropractic. And from outside of Colorado, come to this amazing event, man. It's Colorado. Who doesn't love Colorado? It's so funny because all these seminars this year are coming to Colorado. It's like, it's the place to be.
Colorado is the place to be. So I'm just going to say hello to a couple of people that have been on the feed with us. Skip Weiss, huge influencer in my inner circle group. I got the shirt on to show. He says, nice shirt. Richard Leda, he's a chiropractor up in Canada. He says, fellow Canadian. and Jonathan Gleed, John Gleedy, he's over in England, and he's a chiropractic veterinarian. So he's taking care of like animals with chiropractic, which is pretty awesome as well.
Did Gleedy say anything? Come on.
He said cheese.
Yeah, exactly. I knew. So Gleedy and I played rugby together at Palmer. We were both front row brothers there. Yeah, crazy Gleedy. I love that guy.
So yeah, he's been on with us too, and there's a few other. Matt Bresky's been on, and then Ryan Doyle's been on. He's in my inner circle group as well. But I just wanted to, bring you on, feature you, talk about some of the things. If you guys have not yet, click that link up there. Register for this event. You don't want to miss out. There's going to be such a heavy lineup of speakers and influencers, and it will give you really the ability to network with people that you wouldn't have access to otherwise. Plus, you get your CEs going. I know every chiropractor has to get those damn things. But here's the other thing. If you guys are liking this and find value in this, hit the share button for us so other people can see this message. And if you are thinking that this is a good episode, hit that heart button and send us a bunch of hearts so we know that you guys are loving what we're doing. And if you're watching this on replay, hashtag replay in the comments so that we know that you watched this while it was after we finished this live. And if you guys did find value, hashtag value in the comment section so we know that there's some value that we delivered to you as well. And last but not least, tell us where you guys are watching in from so we know where our audience is matriculating in from. And Dr. RJ, man, thanks for making some time today. Thank you for doing this special interview with this Chiropractic Colorado Association and just shining a big spotlight on getting people together and taking action together.
Hey, thanks, Jim, for having me, man. I appreciate it, and I hope everyone loves it. And again, man, just thank you so much for what you do, and let's just keep making chiropractic being great.
Awesome. Well, you guys are just one story away. Keep hustling, and I'll see you on the next edition. Dr. RJ, I want you to have a fantastic rest of your day, okay?
You too, brother. Bless you, man. Thanks, Jim.
All right. See you soon.
Thank you for listening to Chiro Hustle Live. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.